Hey, soldiers, this has to be the most glaring example of profligate spending that I've ever heard of in my entire life. It's an example of how, in this culture, we place possessions over ownership. Remember, you can possess something like a fancy car and not own it, okay, and have it not do anything for you financially. Some are going to say, well, you possess your house, you don't own it, the bank owns it, but you're getting the tax benefits from it. You're able to rent it out and generate an income. Totally different ball game, okay? So in the absolute most insane example of ownership, of possessions rather, trumping ownership, you can now rent Michael Jordan tennis shoes, okay? As insane as that sounds, you can do it. Now, of course, you might have gone to the prom at some point and you may have rented your tuxedo for the evening, and you may have rented a pair of dress shoes to go with that tuxedo. You wore it for a few hours back in high school, again for prom, and then, you moved on. You took it back the next day and that was it. Well, there's a rent-a-center, and apparently this is in Baltimore, Maryland, where, look, let's just talk turkey about it. There is a population of predominantly poor black people who are obviously susceptible to going and renting a Michael Jordan tennis shoe, because no one is getting this message through to them about ownership versus possession. I had suggested that we have an asset acquisition story hour in schools. How about that? Can we all agree on that? Something that's actually going to help children become more productive and steer clear of weird ass messages like come in here and rent a tennis shoe. All right, let's get into the details. Now, mind you, I have not worn a pair of Michael Jordan tennis shoes since I was in high school. In fact, I only own one pair of tennis shoes. Notice, they're not talking about you can rent a work boot, all right, a steel toe work boot that's going to help you make some money. No, this is strictly fashion. So you go into the rent-a-center and they're saying that you can actually rent these shoes for the low price of $19.99 per month. And look, we're going to be absolutely positively honest on this. Again, I hope this is a troll. I really, really do. I pray this is a troll, but something tells me it's not. Guys, I've vetted this and I've seen it. I've heard folks say they went by the rent-a-center. Okay, I have not done it personally, but God, I hope this is a troll. Anyway, $19.99 per week, 53 payments at $19.99 per week to own this shoe. All right. Now, I have no idea how much a Michael Jordan tennis shoe retails for. Like I said, I have not worn these shoes since I was in high school. Okay. My style of dress doesn't include tennis shoes, but something's telling me that there's no way this shoe retails for over $1,000. That would be just insane. Okay, so this is apparently what they're displaying at the store here. And if someone is doing this, if someone's actually paying for this and you know them, please give them the URL to the Soldiers of Finance channel. We need to deprogram them. I mean, black windowless van type deprogram if someone's insane enough to be engaged in this sort of thing. Now, $1,049 is what they're saying, or just over $1,000 for these shoes. And again, they're not even steel toe. You can't even work in these boots. Okay, you can't go out into the garden and start planting things in these boots, in these shoes. It's totally non-productive. So what could you do with $19.99 per week? Well, you could actually start yourself a dollar cost averaged investment program where you are buying fractional shares of stock. Okay, we've talked about that ad nauseum. We've talked about the different services that provide you with the opportunity to buy stocks at fractional shares. And at the end of, I guess whatever 53 weeks, so that's a year roughly, just over, you'd own over $1,000 worth of some company. All right, maybe Nike. I'm not suggesting you buy them, but I am saying that they do have a stock that you could own, as opposed you could really own that as opposed to possessing a tennis shoe. Now, of course, you may have less than that, depending on whether or not the value of the stock went down. But at the end of the day, you'll still be an owner, okay, of that stock. So the other thing, when you think about Nike, for example, again, I'm definitely not suggesting that that's what you go out here and do, but Nike, you can also get some income from that stock by getting their dividend. They are a dividend paying stock. So not only do you have a chance at appreciation, but you also have a chance at getting some income paid to you just by virtue of owning the company. Now, you're not going to get any income off of this tennis shoe because something tells me that if you have to rent it, you are not NBA material. Okay, so that ain't happening. You're not going to, it's definitely not going to appreciate in value. There's no way that's going to happen after someone put their foot in it and wore it around town. And I know some people, well, it's a big booming business of like these tennis shoe collectors. I knew a guy that did that. But at the end of the day, if you're given a choice between doing your due diligence and identifying some quality stocks or real estate or opening your own business, okay, maybe a athletic store. If people are willing to pay this kind of money for tennis shoes, maybe your business would be a tennis shoe store. Maybe that. If you're given the choice between those things and being some athletic shoe trader, okay, come on. What do you think is going to have the best long-term prospect in terms of helping you appreciate your dollar in value and actually derive real income? Okay, there is a reason why there is no Michael Jordan index on the New York Stock Exchange or offered on the NASDAQ. Okay, there's a reason for that. Now, Michael Jordan himself, oh, this guy's phenomenally wealthy. GOAT, okay, all the way. Had an argument with a guy, a friend of mine, who was saying, well, Michael Jordan was the GOAT of our generation. No, dumb. GOAT stands for greatest of all time. The A stands for all time. All. T stands for time. That means, the whole thing, okay? So, God bless Michael Jordan, but you don't have to be the one paying him income. You can be the one getting income from what Michael Jordan is out there doing with his name and his legacy. He is a big part of Nike, and that's part of the reason why they can pay that dividend. So if you want to own Jordans, not just possess them, then maybe you should look at ownership of the company that manufactures the shoe. And again, do some due diligence there. This just has me really blown away that we're in a culture that is emphasizing this type of thinking and that obviously there's a market for it. Listen, guys, just totally reject conspicuous consumerism. We here at Soldiers of Finance, we are developing an all new definition of wealth. It does not include the fanciest clothes. You got to have good clothes. I get it. You got to have quality clothes. I get it. But you don't have to have a $1,000 pair of tennis shoes unless maybe you are a member of the NFL or NBA, which very, very few people are, right? So just reject this madness and continue to do your due diligence and purchase assets, income producing and appreciating assets. Now, it is true, recently the housing market has taken a dive, but real estate is an asset. Watch this report we did and understand what's going on in the housing market. Don't follow the herd. Just because the market is down doesn't mean it's something you should shy away from. You've got to do your due diligence. Understand that as long as human beings need to live in a structure, we're going to have a housing market. If we all wake up tomorrow and we've got fur, then maybe we can go without the house, right? But if that doesn't happen, we need houses. I know, quite a visual, right? Like, subscribe, share. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.